If you had to be placed in a saw trap, which one would you choose? What is good, everybody, and happy All Hallows Eve.
Today we're gonna be talking about all the saw traps from movies 1 to 3.
And if you guys think that's pretty cool and you like me and you like my videos and you don't dislike me and want to spit on me,
maybe we'll do the next 3 movies in a part 2.
Or as I like to say, fart poo. There's just something about these movies and the concept behind Jigsaw and all the traps that is so funny to me. So if you'll indulge me, grab some popcorn and maybe some jujubes. Live or die, the choice is yours. Let's drop in. Saw 1. Starting off with the classic and main trap of this movie, the bathroom trap. The main trap of Saw 1 is great because it's sort of like a puzzle box. I love how they're just stuck in one location and everything they need is in the area within arm's reach. So they really just have to sit there and talk things out with one another.
I don't give a crap if you covered yourself in peanut butter and had a 15-hooker gangbang.
I did not cheat on her!
You'll see as we go on, all these movies just get more and more convoluted with the traps, so let's just enjoy the simplicity while we have it. So the main thing with this trap is sawing off your foot. Yeah, I'm not doing that. Next, JK. But I do have some grievances with the fairness of this one. First off, Adam is at such an absurd disadvantage here. He wakes up underwater in the pitch black in the bathtub with the key to his shackle in the water with him. So the very first shot of the movie is him waking up, inevitably freaking out because he's drowning, and then knocking the drain out of the way and having the key go down the drain. How is that testing him in any way? When it comes to cutting off your foot, you can't cut through the chain. Okay, now you wanna comment that. When they try to do it in the movie, the saw break. They freaking try it, leading to Adam breaking his freaking saw. Also, I have to say that saw breaks pretty easily. Not cool, man. Obviously they're gonna try that. Give him a decent tool. But there's also another answer to this. In the rules, Lawrence is told that if he kills Adam, he will get out. We don't see this happen, and I don't know if this would ever actually lead him to being free. A lot of the traps do seem to have rules that if you literally follow them to the T, then like, you win. And then the reason they don't win is because they didn't follow the rules. However, I don't see how him actually going through with killing Adam makes it so that he passes his test, you know, suffers enough that he learns to cherish life. So I kind of feel like this part is bullshit and maybe a misdirection. Plus the blood that is supposedly poisoned is this pool that the alive John Kramer is laying in. Like I said, there's just a lot we don't know, a lot of unfairness. So I feel like the only sure way to get out of this is to cut off your foot. And that's way more effort than I'm willing to expend on this one. So I'm calling it too hard.
Game over.
Flammable jelly trap. You wake up in a pitch black room, you're butt naked, you're covered head to toe in a flammable jelly. Inside your body is a slow acting poison. The only antidote? In the safe in the middle of the room. On the walls of the room are the numbers to the combination of the safe written indistinguishably among hundreds of other numbers. You're given a single candle. In the floor is covered in broken glass, just for good measure. All because you pretended to be sick to stay home from work.
If you're so sick, then why do I have so many photos of you up and about?
What can I say? You do the crime, you do the time, motherfucker. So yeah, in all seriousness, this is the first one I'm giving a certified absolute bogus to. No one on the planet is completing this trap. There's just no way. Next, we have the reverse bear trap. Quite possibly the most iconic saw trap in all of the series. Why did I say it like that? And the one we get definitive proof that the character survived. So you might be saying, well, problem solved. This is the most survivable one. Wrong. I'm calling bogus on this one too. Namely, because she only gets 1 minute. The classic Jigsaw 1 minute. You wake up in a dark, unfamiliar place with no memory. A giant fucked up contraption strapped to your head. And some horror movie puppet shows up on the TV screen to tell you to scoop both your eyes out with a rusty spoon to find a key in your brainstem, or else your dick and balls will be ripped off by a bungee cord. Oh, and also, you have 1 minute. Okay, go. So she has to cut into someone else's stomach to get the key, which is really merciful for Jigsaw. She doesn't have to do anything to herself, really. Also, not to mention, this guy is alive, and we never find out who the hell this guy is. Why does he deserve to die without getting the chance to complete a test of his own? What the hell, Jigsaw? Anyway, I feel like you have to know how to cut into somebody and find a key in their stomach. That can't be easy with no, like, training in anatomy. Then with completely wet and bloody, sticky hands, she has to reach behind her to open up the padlock on the back of her head, and her hair is, like, all getting in the way. I generally think if you sat me down and gave me this exact same task, except I already had the key in my dry hands and all I had to do was open the lock and get it off, I'd barely trust me to open that bitch in 1 minute. So I'm saying too hard. And here we are. The answer to the most survivable trap in Saw 1 is the razor wire maze. Let's go! Okay, so this one actually doesn't seem that hard to me, honestly. He has to navigate this maze filled with this razor wire, but he gets 2 hours to do it. So as long as you don't freak out and start absolutely tweaking like this dumb bastard in the movie, then you should really be fine. It doesn't seem that big or confusing, and that's a solid amount of time. You'll probably get cut up a bit, but as long as you don't lose your shit and get fully tangled in the first 25 seconds, then I think you're good. So I'm calling this one doable. Before we move on, I should probably mention that there's other traps in Saw, like the shotgun trap, but these aren't like a choice or a game at all. It's just know that there's a wire there before you step on the wire. So there's a few like that throughout the movies that I probably won't mention. And really, what do these cops do to deserve to die besides doing their job? Jigsaw, I don't know if I want to be friends with you anymore. Now we're moving on to Saw 2, and starting us off is the Venus flytrap. Did somebody order BS with a side of bogus sauce? So yet again, this man gets the classic Jigsaw 60 seconds. But instead of cutting someone else open for the key, he has to cut through his own eye. So listen, in theory, this one could be doable, but I can barely put a contact in 60 seconds. I also thought about you could maybe put your arms up like this to try to block it from closing on your head. But unless you know for sure that someone's on the way to you like soon, then this one's not gonna do you much good either. So, yes. So the rest of the traps in this movie are pretty much the ones in this overarching narrative of ex-cons going through this house with gas, doing mini traps to try to get antidotes. Spoiler alert, they don't get a single one. The first trap is this magnum eye hole. It's really as simple as can be. There is a gun pointing at you through the peephole that shoots when you unlock the door. So this one actually pisses me off a lot. It's utter bullshit. The only thing they get for this one is a note that says, don't use this key on this door.
So what they don't know is that the door will eventually open on its own. But what he does is give them a countdown to their deaths, then expects them to not be proactive and just sit there and do nothing and just hope that the door will open or something that will happen.
This one is just lame bullshit, to be honest. This one is sort of hard to talk about because we don't know anything about it. Because everyone in the scene blew in on a harsh gust from dumb motherfuckersville. They send one guy into the furnace to get the antidotes without taking 1 second to think of a gameplay. At least try to prop the door open so it can't close or something. Obviously the door is gonna close. Jigsaw also says this riddle about when you're in hell, only the devil can help you. Personally, if I was in this situation, I would listen to each recording like 20 or 30 times before I considered any next move. Anyway, then when the door inevitably closes and the fire turns on, the camera very unsubtly cuts to this drawing of the devil next to a valve that would assumedly cut off the fire. However, we have no idea whether or not it would work because the guy doesn't even try to turn it. Instead, he's just like, I'll just burn to death. So to be honest, I'm not taking my chances with this one. So I'm saying it's too hard due to unclear conditions. Finally, the one everyone's probably been waiting for, the needle pit. One of, if not the most cringe-inducing trap in the entire series. And one of the funniest scenes in Saw history. They enter a room and immediately a clock starts counting down. They find a pit in the middle of the room filled with needles and they gotta find the key in there, needle in a haystack style. Haystack in a needle stack? Needle in a haystack style. Once they see this, obviously nobody wants to jump in. So this big guy takes charge. In all honesty, game respects game. He knows nobody's going in there, but if he chucks someone down there, they have to look for the key, and otherwise they're not getting that key. So he chucks somebody down there. If only he didn't fumble putting the key in the goddamn lock, then this would have been the play of the game. After that though, he comes at her as if he thinks she's the one who messed up putting the key in the lock? Anyway, one crucial thing they clearly missed if they didn't stand there catching flies is that they could have taken off all their shirts and pants and wrapped it around somebody's arms so that they could jump in easier. Or grab the blanket that's right there. You know, instead of throwing in the one person in the room who doesn't have shoes on. Also thinking back on it, this isn't really related, but why was it necessary for Amanda to take part in the trap? Later, John says it's so that she can make sure they follow the rules, but they don't follow the rules. So she went through this whole needle pit experience for nothing. Finally, we get the piece de resistance of Saw 2, the razor box. The easiest trap in Saw 2, and quite possibly the easiest trap in Saw history. All you have to do is not charge in and shove both your hands into the, Okay. What's this box? Ah! It's just so obvious. If you have to shove your hand in, just shove one hand in, grab the antidote, be careful not to fucking spill it everywhere, then prop up the razors with the other hand so you can bring it safely back through. But as we can see here, and as we learned in the special features, there's a key in the room to the box. So if she had looked around for one more second, she wouldn't have had to put her hands in the box at all. Now, granted, a lot of people say she wasn't thinking straight because there's the nerve gas in the house, so that's why she acted like such a dumb bitch. But to be honest with you, I just don't buy this. No one else's decision-making skills have been hindered. In fact, they make really smart and calculated moves after they've been exposed to more gas than her. This guy remembers a shitload of numbers. Just because she's woozy still doesn't excuse this decision. Either way, I'm calling the razor box child's play. And we're on to Saw 3, starting off with the hooks. I'm pretty much gonna gloss over this one because this is my least favorite trap in all of the first 5 movies. A guy has like 12 hooks in him, 2 of which are in his Achilles tendons and one's over his whole jaw and has to rip them out to escape. Oh, plus Amanda made this trap, so she welded the door shut, so whatever. One thing that is insanely frustrating to me as these movies go on is this idea that other people make jigsaw traps besides John Kramer and they make them unwinnable. This goes against the whole point in the fun of these movies. The movies are like, oh no, they managed to complete the torture, but they still died. Aren't you scared? No, that's boring and pointless and stupid, and it sucks the fun out of the room, so quit it. Next, we've got the angel's wings dealio. She's got to get the key out of the acid before the time's up or else this will happen. Whoops, Amanda did this one. LMAO, get the key, nothing happens. To be honest though, you should have seen this one coming. Like, so you unlock the padlock that's right here, but there's still serious inches of steel hooked into your rib cage. Plus, the puppet says the key will be dissolved in seconds, when the key fell into the acid before she even woke up.
But do it quickly. The acid will dissolve the key in a matter of seconds.
Amanda, you're such a bitch, LOL! Our main trap in Saw 3 is a series of multiplayer traps where Jeffrey has to save all these people, except he doesn't save anyone because he's too slow. The conflict is that they all in some way had a hand in the death of his son or the lighter sentence of his son's killer. So first he finds this chick naked, hanging in this freezer, getting sprayed with water. Damn, dude, this one's insane. All he has to do is grab the key and release her. But to grab the key, he's got to let his face touch a metal pole. So he takes up the first 5 minutes just doing nothing until he realizes she's frozen solid. Then he tries to get the key. Oh my God, bro. But he feels really bad about it. Watch the way he gropes her face. In this one, all he has to do is choose to burn his son's toys before this guy drowns. Literally a monkey could do this one, but Jeff takes 10 minutes to complete this task. I know it's like an emotional thing, but dude, we all know you're gonna decide to do it at the last second, so just get it over with. And out pops the one dude that Jeff actually manages to save.
Got the key.
And here we are at my favorite trap in the first 5 movies, the rack. This one is truly diabolical. I can't show you any of this, but it sort of does this to you. Jeff has to grab a key while apparently taking a bullet for this guy, which is a nice thought, except he doesn't have to take a bullet.
Got the key.
All he has to do is get out of the way and, hey, I don't know, tell the other guy that the gun's about to go off. But no, that's way too far out of Jeff's depth. But then when he gets the key, he just can't figure out where to put it. He doesn't really try all that hard, to be honest. Anyway, let's look at Jeffrey's final test. All Jeff has to do is not kill Jigsaw so that his wife's head doesn't get blowed up. Jeff, you are truly the worst Saw player that I've ever seen. To be fair though, she's just sitting there like, Jeff, it's like you're about to fucking die. At least say, hey Jeff, don't, or I'll get killed by getting shot in the head by this giant contraption wrapped around my head. Come on! So I'm not really gonna count all of Jeff's tests, because it's not fair that all he had to do was make choices based on other people's lives. He wasn't really at risk, so let's disqualify these. My choice for the easiest is the shotgun trap, because as you can see, the hammers are exposed. So I just shove huge bits of clothing and cloth in the way of the hammers, then I kill Jigsaw, bada boom, bada bing. All right, so
Tallying up the scores, it seems the 3 most survivable saw traps in the 3 first movies
are, in my opinion, the razor wire maze, the razor box,
and finally, the shotgun collar.
and the winner is, it's the razor box. It's always been the razor box. Thank you so much if you watched up to this point. I love you guys. If you know me, you know I've been mostly making TikTok content, but I've been trying. I want to pivot into making more long form YouTube stuff, so please let me know if you enjoyed this.
And let me know if you guys would be interested in a fart poo where we look at movies 4 through 6.
All right, kisses. Bye bye. Bye. See ya. Game over.